Yes, I know what you are going to say. Make yourself at home. Well, I just did.
Yes, no time to waste.
Well, time is money.
Yes, but not your money. You keep wasting my money in mead. Have you ever considered getting your own money, perhaps working in a call center or a fast food restaurant, or selling your soul to the devil, which is about the same thing and probably less painful?
Yeah, of course not. Why making my own money when I can spend what belongs to others? It's the first principle of pillaging. Anyway, what are you doing?
Well, I've been awake all night writing the next video. And I have no more pens, and now I'm left with quills. And I actually lost the previous quill, and I had to pluck a new one out of the chicken's house.
Oh, poor thing. Already halfway to be roasted.
Now you see how bad our financial situation is. Soon I will have to go Robin Hood on people and take everyone's money.
See how useful pillaging is?
Alright, I'm done writing. Let's get started.
Oh, more boring rubbish. I'll drown myself in mead.
Well, hello friends, my name is Ari Thurger and today I'm going to talk about the Valknut. Now, before we start, in this video there will be a lot of strange terms and names, and I will place them on the screen, but please turn on the subtitles for more information. Now, let's go. There are no evidences whatsoever that this symbol is called Valknut or Valknutr. Supposedly it means the knot of the slain, but such term is never mentioned anywhere. And since this name has been connected to this symbol for too long, not only for academics but also for people who follow and practice the Northern European pagan traditions, it will be very hard to break the connection between the symbol and the term Valknut. I have written about this symbol 5 or 6 years ago at my blogs, and I have stated that there are no proper evidences to support the assumption of Valknut being a symbol connected with death, sacrifice and even fate. But I have failed to mention that this symbol, its name is not Valknut, and its original name is simply unknown. The word Valknut does not exist in the Norse language. The term was applied to the symbol in modern scholarship, but there is no historical background to support this. However, the term is a real term. Valknut is a real word, and it comes from the Norwegian word Valknut, which belongs to an entirely different symbol. This one you can see in here. And it was used, and it's still used, on woodworking, metalworking, and on textiles to create patterns and in cheese molds, as you can see in here. Valknut is probably the most known and used symbol, as well as Mjolnir, by the neo-pagans, heathens, and the people who practice the Northern European pagan traditions. And as I've said before, the word Valknut is a neologism created by modern times, supposedly by connecting two words, Valr, the dead or the slain, and Knut, knot. And this symbol is created by the interconnection of 3 triangles, and these triangles can be joined in 2 different ways, the Borromean way and the unicursal. The Borromean type can be seen, for instance, in the Stora Hammar's runestone, but we will get to that later. Now, the possible real name for this symbol might be Rungnirshjerta, which means Rungnir's heart, as it is mentioned in the Prose Edda by Snorri Sturluson in Skaldskaparmal. I told you there will be a lot of strange names and terms. But this is only mentioned in here. But the myth of Rungnir was clearly well known in medieval Scandinavia, as many kennings in skaldic poetry and also the Edicles also mention him. But now I quote from Snorri Sturluson. Rungnir had a heart made of hard stone and pointed with 3 corners, just like the carved symbol which has been called Rungnir's heart ever since. This description points out to a symbol that can be seen in rune stones and picture stones in Gotland. This symbol consists in 3 interwoven triangles, and as Snorri Sturluson mentions, this symbol was called Rungnisjerta ever since the giant was slain and his heart was shown. So this also points out that the symbol probably had another name before the mythological event, and everyone who knew about the original name of this symbol is now dead, and we will probably never know the real term of the symbol. This symbol is known to be associated with death and sacrifice. But is it really? Now I will show you an image and let's try to read that image. In this image, the Storahammer's runestone, we can see a raven, which might obviously at first be connected with the god Odin. Or is it a falcon? And you can see a burial scene in here, and even a burial mound. And there are obvious connections with death and a ritual being performed. A dead person placed in its final resting place, or perhaps being placed on an altar to be sacrificed by a figure with a spear and accompanied by another raven, or perhaps a bird being offered by another man, possibly a warrior. This might be Odin there, with his 2 ravens and his famous spear Gungnir, and to the left there seems to be a figure of a hanged man on a tree, which is not only a way of sacrifice to the god Odin, but also a symbol of the deity himself, since one of Odin's names is Hungadothrinn, Lord of the Hanged, and also Hungathir, God of the Hanged. And there it is, in the middle of this death and sacrifice scene, the symbol so-called Valknut, or possibly Rungnisjerta, in the center of the composition, making it the most important thing that should be noticed at once. So it is true that this symbol occurs in funeral contexts. But as I have said before, the previous picture is heavily suggestive of the cult of Odin. But there are other contexts where this symbol appears that point on the exact opposite direction of the cult of Odin, or a cult linked to death and sacrifice. So the previous picture seems to be an exception rather than what we deem to be the truth. And this symbol appears in a lot of other contexts, including objects and even mundane objects, and in other picture stones associated with horses. And indeed, Rungnir's myth is connected with horses. So horses might or might not be connected with death and the journey of the spirit into the afterlife in horseback. And for instance, another example of the symbol and the unicursal type of the symbol can be seen in the Thengagården stone. And as you can see in here, there is someone on horseback and the symbols below the horse. And it's clearly not a picture associated with sacrifice and death or some sort of ritual. It seems more of a ceremony. In conclusion, we cannot link this symbol to Odin, death and sacrifice only. There seems to be more to this symbol, and it goes far beyond the conclusions we have taken so far. So I think we must continue to study this symbol in order to bring to light the true meaning of the symbol, because it seems to me this symbol is much more complex than we originally thought. Alright friends, I hope you have enjoyed this video even with all the strange names and terms. And I must say that all the images that were used in this video are public domain, and you can see the links down below in the description, as well as the links to all of my social media. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video, and of course, tack för idag!
Jögenskugan and Jungris hjärta. What? Oh.